Imagine a scenario where a single dad with one child robs from a bank. When the officer arrests the dad is obviously being punished for the sins he committed, but also, the son is being punished and suffering for the sins of the father. He will grow up fatherless, even if the father was a good dad. After 20 years, the son, still fatherless, decides to follow in his father's footsteps and robs from a bank. The son will bear the responsibility of oneself with the act he committed. If the father and son were placed in the same cell with the officer who arrested them nearby, the officer would tell each of them something different. To the father, your actions caused you to miss a majority of your son's life. Your son grew up fatherless, without further guidance. Your son decided to follow in your footsteps to rob. You are to blame for your actions, but also played a part in what caused your son's predicament. And to the son, even though your father wasn't in your life, you should have never stolen. You are to blame and will be punished accordingly to your sins. Opening word. I bet that caught your attention. Since most people leave the video after 1 minute. If you like the video, hit the like button somewhere right here. I'll probably move my finger somewhere. If you're gonna comment agreeing or disagreeing, sure, I'll try to respond. Unless you call me a liar or it's like 100 comments in, then it ain't worth my time anymore. Or subscribe. It helps. That's all I got. Back to the video. Exodus chapter 20 verse 5 and Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 20 seems like an outright contradiction at first glance. Who bears the punishment of the father? The son or just himself? Even if we ignore Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 20, doesn't Exodus chapter 20 verse 5 seem unjust of God for someone to be punished based on actions they did not commit? This answer is surprisingly simple.
That was easy.
You will be punished in this lifetime for the sins you committed, but the sins you commit can cause someone else to stumble. Ezekiel chapter 3 from verses 17 to 21 provides an example of God telling Ezekiel that he will judge others according to their sins, but for those who have responsibility to do something and don't, will be held liable. Ezekiel chapter 18 speaks about the final judgment in which every man will be held accountable for their own actions. This dying is referring to the second death after judgment. Exodus chapter 20 speaks as if the father sins, their punishment may be bestowed on not only them, but their family. Even in the case of leaders, their nations may be punished for their actions. This is evident in life. You can look into examples of the flood, Numbers 16, or even David and the census. People will receive some sort of punishment based on others' actions in their life. But however they live this life, they will be judged according to that life which they live in judgment.